We are live.
Woohoo!
Alright.
Hey everybody, live.
Can you please welcome the people?
Oh, people are watching. Hello everyone. Welcome to Jamaicans.com / Island Syndicate / Island Origins TV / Fabulous People from
This
Caribbean
is called
Cultures.
Island Origins Live.
Island Origins Live!
And we're back to old school, so we don't have anybody to play. So please pardon me walking on from off screen, but
Yeah, man.
that's what happens when you scale it back a little bit, right?
That's okay.
So, yeah, of course it's okay. I know it's okay, but still gotta let the people know, right? So, hey everybody, I'm Calibe. What's your name?
Sexy man.
Is that on your birth certificate?
No, they call me David Muir on my birth certificate.
Okay.
David I. Muir.
That sounds a little more normal, I think. So, sexy man. Should I call you sexy man?
I think it's appropriate.
Okay.
I feel very sexy. I respond very well to that.
Oh my god. Alright, so yeah. And because we've scaled back, we're going to be looking at the phones a little bit because we would like to engage our audience a little bit more. So we have some topics, some hot topics, let's call them, for the day. For the past week, I guess. And
You like about makeup?
I have a little bit of makeup. Every time I have a little color on my mouth, you feel like I have on makeup.
You look good. It's a good look.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
He likes to tell me I look like a clown if I have
No,
on
yeah, too much makeup there. I'm not down for that.
awful sexy man. But yeah, so what we want to do today and going forward hopefully is to make sure that we're getting some more engagement from you, the audience, rather than us just talking about whatever it is that we're talking about. So we have some hot topics today. And I think, do you want to start off with the events that we have been visiting? Like this was an active weekend in South Florida. So if you were down here, if you were on Jamaicans.com this weekend, you saw me at Caribbean 305 just walking the space. I wasn't able to do it obviously at our event because I was hosting the event. But you know, Caribbean 305 is one of those places that actually represents the whole Caribbean. What's your take on the event?
Alright, so stop inviting people to join us.
Invite people. I'll tell.
I'll jump in a second.
Yeah, I'll
I
tell our
have
viewers.
strong opinions, but
You're
yes.
going to be very careful about sharing this.
No, man, my opinions are good
Oh my
opinions.
God.
Man.
Alright.
We need not be careful. We are.
Lord have mercy.
No, anyway,
Oh my gosh.
You first, me second.
Well, no, what I'm going to do first is actually tell people what it was. So if you didn't see the live, apparently 2,000 people have seen it at this point or more.
What? Yeah, actually.
Sometimes.
Oh, sorry. You're hot, eh?
I'm working is the thing. And part of what I'm doing now with Jamaicans.com since I got this selfie stick, right, is I've become this roving reporter. It becomes addictive after a while.
Really?
It hurts your shoulder because you're around there walking around like this all the time. But I've become this roving reporter kind of. So when there's a cool event or whatever going on, you might see a pop-up just with what you're missing or what you might want to try out next time. So Caribbean 305 is a production of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, CHTA. And that's a group of people, hotels, tourist boards, etc., who come together to promote the Caribbean region and tourism specifically, and of course drive those tourists and visitors to the hotel rooms. Supposedly that's where we make some money, but the all-inclusives keep it inside of the all-inclusive, so that's a discussion for another day, right? If you don't know that argument, when you go to an all-inclusive and you eat there and you party there and you scuba dive there and you never leave the hotel premises to go out and interact with the rest of the community, are you actually putting money into the country, or are you only putting money into the coffers of the all-inclusive?
No, you give money to everybody, because people work there and them go and them spend their earnings in the marketplace and at the stores and in the rest of the community. So
that is true. That is true. Local business may not benefit so much, right? But the staff there does benefit. All right, so we won't knock the all-inclusives too much, especially since we stayed at one last week. So big ups to them. But yeah, so this was a cool event, right? It was supposed to be all
really cool. It was a little warm. but it was a culturally cool event.
Culturally, it was cool. The setup was nice. Like, it was a nice dark ambiance, and the islands really, when they come to that event, they really deck out the place, right? They have their tents and their displays and their signage and their they pull out all the stops to make the decor special and memorable. So let's do pros and cons.
Yeah, man.
Right?
So let me jump in. Right. Pros and cons.
Pros and cons. So we're starting with the pros first, right?
Well, there are tons of pros and very few cons.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
the pros.
Yes.
I think that an event like that, a huge pro is that it's an indoor event, so there's no worries of the threat of rain. I think it's great that it's a central location that's easy to get to by highway. I think the pros is that it has all the Caribbean cultures available to you in one place.
That was a big pro for me too.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I think it's awesome that, countries I didn't think about were there. Like, I don't even remember they exist sometimes. And they're like, it was awesome to have like some little beanie countries represented. I could try their food, and it was cool. And
a big pro for me was the swing.
Well, I told you I love the swing. I love this. It was such a cool activity. All right, sorry. But yeah, I told you already. I endorsed that.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
So I thought another really cool part was I'm a man and I enjoy a beautiful woman, and there were loads of beautiful women in carnival costumes, feathers and stuff all over the place.
Carnival is a partner of theirs too, right?
I guess so.
They were.
Well, if it was theirs, I gather that was.
They absolutely were.
Okay, so that was definitely awesome. Loads of beautiful men. Lots of good food. There were a few disappointments, but I won't get into the food department. But overall, food was really good. And I am going to just give a little big props right now to Goya. Their table, the food was really...
They're not actually an island.
No, but they are. I guess Cuba, aren't they?
Cuba wasn't there.
Right, Goya is Cuba.
No.
I
think Goya is actually from Spain. I'm not from Cuba.
Okay, well, my apology. But seeing that you're representing Cuba to me.
With all the pork, right?
Yeah, guy was Wanipa.
Babylon.
Yeah, pork and yuca and plantain.
Latin food, that's Latin.
Yeah.
That's Latin style.
Cuba.
Yeah, okay, alright. Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there were a lot of people. That's a big pro for the promoters, at least. There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a pro and a con, though.
Yeah, I want to say that. So the con part is not the amount of people, but the way they set up the place for the flow. I didn't vibe the flow. That bar right in front of the stage. Yeah. I think that they could have done better with that placement. Yeah.
And then when you got in, like, I couldn't figure out which way I should go first. The flow. The flow was a con, but let's keep going with the pros. So having a live band was pro. I love seeing Bobby Rose up there singing. Love that Willie Stewart and Friends was there as the live band. That was Willie?
That's who you heard the whole time.
Oh, I didn't even realize. Hi, Willie.
Yeah, man, it was Willie Stewart and Friends providing entertainment.
Okay.
So I thought that was pretty cool. Of course, everybody that performed, I think that was pretty cool. I also think that what I think really was cool, and it's so interesting because I'm not looking for alcohol because I'm on a natural high all the time. But they had this guy who was doing a shave ice, and he had like a really like Caribbean push cart kind of thing looked like, and it was really awesome to get that shave ice and then your drink poured into it, and you it's like a sky juice, man.
Right.
That was a huge plus for me. Like the swing was a huge plus.
Was there sky juice?
It wasn't sky juice, but it was a version of it. You could tell it's basically food that is street food in the Caribbean, but it wasn't actually like Jamaican sky juice, which is the only one I know really well.
Where Sean Ferguson is asking where the food is. It was at the event.
Oh, yeah, man. No, but the food was good. It wasn't all the best food, but in large parts there was good food.
The biggest challenge for me was that the food ran out.
Yeah, that never nice.
That was a little challenging.
It almost felt though, in defense of the promoter, it felt like it was planned because it seemed like everybody ran at the same time. So either
I heard that they had maybe a few less people this year than they did last year, and the food lasted longer last year. So I don't know why they planned it that way.
I don't know.
For a $95 to $125 ticket.
Yes, I know one person that was not happy that when they got there was no food, and the event said till 11, and they got there minutes to 10. And food never leaves.
But it was stunning. Like the room when you walked in there, the room was stunning. I mean, me as a former interior designer, loved the grass walls and the colors.
The VIP did look good.
Yeah, man.
I never went into the VIP, but the VIP looked good. But it was such a large real estate for the VIP, and I just felt like the placement of the main bar was a mistake. Mm-hmm. It was just.
I mean, it was a lovely bar.
It was a
if you're going to look for ambience and just what the place feels like, it was off the charts, I think.
Right. And I guess I would say I polled some other people who were there about their thoughts. And some people love the fact that it was cramped up space because they say, boy, you're dancing and you're up on the people. Yeah. So some people like that.
I don't like
but
that.
I don't like it for when I'm walking, I can't get through because everybody bungle up. Right. I wasn't feeling that. I prefer more room in
Was anyone there? Why is Annette Griffith saying terrible? Is it because of us? Please don't form any terrible opinions because of us.
Terrible. I gave you all these positives. So there's a few negatives, but there's loads of positives.
Yeah, man. K. Henry watching from Florida. Thank you for tuning in. Food, so misplaced priorities, decor versus food availability. You know what happened? It depends on what you're going there for. We've had an event before where there was challenges with the food. Not that it wasn't food there, but it wasn't coming out fast enough. I gave us great points for decor and vibe and all of that kind of stuff, but people knocked us for the food not being out there. So, but there were people who enjoyed the event anyway because they were there for the camaraderie and the ambience and whatever. And there were other people who wanted a belly full, especially when you pay, $95 or $125. It's not just about ambience. I'm hungry. I'm coming there with my belly.
Well, on that note, I went there hungry and I left satisfied.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, no, definitely. I had fun. I was good.
Didn't leave satisfied.
But you only eat leaf and fish and everything else.
I eat a diet that it doesn't include pork and beef and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But aside from that, even if I did, the only thing, like when one of our partners arrived at, closer toward the end of it, but she only got some pork thing, like.
Yeah, and it wasn't even visible, so yeah, it had to be like you have to go look for it. Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna leave Caribbean 305 alone. Thank you for doing Caribbean 305. I thought it was, overall I gave it, I don't wanna grade them, but I enjoyed the event. The event.
Can I give a review of
Caribbean Village?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say next.
Oh.
So on to Caribbean Village. On to Caribbean Village. And if you were at Caribbean Village, Jamaica Diaspora Southern USA, yes, it was something for everyone, absolutely. So let's talk about Caribbean Village. Was there something for everyone at Caribbean Village? I didn't go, full disclosure, but big ups to Lindell and his team for pulling together what I heard was a bigger, fancier event than they did last year.
All right, so let me speak to my thoughts on Caribbean Village. I am really impressed with what Caribbean Village did this year by comparison to the previous years. They had a lot more people. They had things more organized. The overall sense of everything was better. So I definitely am really happy for them. There are some things that I feel like, when you're privileged and you just use the privilege, so there were things that were, because I'm used to privilege, I felt slightly inconvenienced by it because it wasn't in my favor. But all in all, I think Caribbean Village did really well. Like I said, they clearly increased their audience size, which made the park feel a lot better because it was more filled with people. I liked that they had some headline entertainers that were really good. Max the Priest was awesome. Kimani Mali was awesome. Actually, I enjoyed Kimani Mali even more than I typically would. So I thought that was great. Kevin Little did really well as well. I was pretty impressed that Kevin Little really brought off his show, and so that went really well. So those are some of the big pluses. there were a lot of vendors with a lot of different types of food offerings, which I thought was another really good part to it. Now, in terms of me, I actually ate before I went, so I didn't eat. I got into VIP quite successfully, and the food in VIP was there till the end.
Into VIP? Why you say it like that?
I didn't sneak in.
Like you snuck in there?
No, I did not sneak in. I'm just saying I was successful in obtaining access to the VIP area.
Okay.
You know, I didn't actually buy a ticket. I didn't. No.
But you successfully made your way.
Yeah,
Okay,
meaning, you know. So here's the thing. Let's put it another way. I bought it without a cash purchase.
Okay.
So I gave consideration to get my way in there.
Okay.
Right? And what I would say about that, what I really thought was good is that the food lasted the entire time, and I really, really enjoyed that ice cream. Mm-hmm. That was really nice.
Right.
Grape nut ice cream. They had pastry, which I had pastries.
Mm-hmm.
They had, like Krispy Kreme donuts. I didn't have any Krispy Kreme, but they had it, and that was, I thought, a nice touch.
You had a few the other day.
Yeah, well, you come and put them in front of me.
It wasn't me.
Person. Anyway.
It wasn't me.
But they had like those like Cuban pastries with the guava inside, pastelitos,
yeah.
and those things to me. You can go to an event and in VIP and it's unlimited
mm-hmm.
pastry
mm-hmm.
and ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. So and they had other things in there like Grace banana chips unlimited and things like that. So I didn't have a meal. I didn't have like rice and fish or whatever they were offering.
But you had
I had a pickings that made me say, yeah, this was good, and there was no real. I didn't feel like there was anything being limited. VIP was very spacious. Mm-hmm. It was very nicely covered, and they had fans. Mm-hmm. I was a fan of the fans. These huge, big fans mm-hmm. blowing cool breeze because the day was hot. Yeah. So it was nice that they had fans blowing. So there were a lot of really nice touches. Mm-hmm. Security was on point. It's all right. The security. So
okay. That's who did ours?
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay.
Yeah, man. So the security was on point. I'm at heavy checkpoints. The guys don't play around.
Right.
So
it was a successful
event. It was a successful event.
Right.
I'm going to say the one negative. I already told Linda myself.
Okay. Yes.
But they got to get lights for the performers. Like the stage lights.
Yeah.
They want either a spotlight or they want a lighting company to do stage lights.
They're still growing. This is what, the fourth year?
Fourth year.
The fourth year.
But no, all the positives. Mm-hmm. It's the only thing that I didn't feel like was like, because everything really, I felt good for him. They did great, and Publix was everywhere. Huge Publix section. Yeah. And
So big ups to our future sponsor and big ups to our past sponsors, Yellow Cab of Broward County and Grace Foods, of course. So who are we saying hello to? William Donaldson. Bless up, good evening to you too. Frank Welsh, I think that's my cousin. Hi, Frank. Annette Griffiths, hey. Michelle James, why the high entry price? Which one was the high entry price? Oh, for the
305.
Caribbean 305. It's not about excluding deplorables. It's about creating an event that is over the top. I think if you want to create something that is, at a certain wow, there's going to be a cost to it because it's going to cost you something to present that event. So that's the reasoning. I don't think it was anything exclusionary.
No, I would think that if you're doing an all-inclusive event,
you gotta charge for
you gotta charge so that you have product.
Otherwise, you're only going to have the banana chips. I mean, you opted to have the banana chips, but all-inclusive for $25 is pure banana chips. That don't make it.
Right.
Sorry, that's not right. All right, so moving on. We can talk about some other events, but they haven't happened yet. So Groove in NYC hasn't happened yet.
That happened this weekend. It was the shot. I've heard a lot of great reviews. They had Babyface and all of these people along with the Caribbean. I think this is the biggest one I've ever had in New York City.
Nice.
It was. I didn't watch it yet, but what's the name of that program that goes and does all these things?
Entertainment Report.
Yeah, that one.
Like Winford Williams.
What's your name again?
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah. Love you, Winford.
Yeah, that was there, and I'll share that it was a lot of good stuff.
Jamaican Diaspora says Groovin' in the Park had rave reviews.
That's what I was. I'm telling you.
If somebody has a thought on that, please go ahead and put it in the.
I heard it was thebomb.com.
Yeah, man. Jerk Festival DC went. I know there was a little mixed emotion about it because apparently it was raining in Maryland, which is across the border, and so that deterred people from coming. But
rain is a terrible thing to promote.
It's a challenge, boy.
And you're a promoter, boy. You know the rain.
Yeah, they said that the actual event was well executed and people enjoyed it, but they were hoping for a bigger crowd. But good for them alright. And of course, Jerk Festival is coming up in Florida, NYC as well.
Yeah, July for New York City, and then November.
Our own Chef Irie is going to be out there as always. Excellent. And then November in Florida. So hopefully we'll be there as well with something from Tasty Islands. We'll see.
Man, we have to partner like how they were at our Tasty Islands 2018.
Yes. Yeah. And we support each other with whatever it is that we're doing. Like you'll see Caribbean Village and Caribbean 305 in Island Origins being promoted in our event section. So we believe in one hand wash the other, and so whether rising tides lift all ships or something like that. I'm not good with the parables.
I definitely am not either.
Yeah, but that's a real parable somewhere. All right, so World Cup fever. I know nothing of this, David. This is all you.
Okay, so I definitely need immediately everybody who's watching, put in what team you're carrying to win the World Cup. That's the first thing. So just put in your country.
Am I carrying the yellow one with the green and the blue stuff in there? What's that one again?
Brazil.
Yeah, sure. Am I carrying that one?
I think that's a wise choice.
That's what everybody has the T-shirts.
They're the favorites to win, and that's the thing. So here's the thing. So if we're talking World Cup, I think everybody, please put your team that you're selecting. Those who are selecting Germany and England, I don't understand, but put it down. If you're still carrying Argentina after all that has gone on so far, then put it in there. I know some people
sounds like you're hating.
No, people think that Messi is the greatest footballer of all time. They say he's the GOAT, greatest of all time. But his team is not domineering, and he is yet to win a World Cup. So this might be his last chance. He's like 30. And
that's so old, right?
For football,
okay.
Yeah. Right. Well, think about it. It's every 4 years. Though we know the next World Cup will be like 34, 35. At that point, as an athlete, you're over the hill.
Right.
Certainly in football. So this is like his last chance. To be the dominant player, like he could be on somebody else being the dominant player and he tag along for the win. But for him to exert his will on the world, this would probably be his last opportunity.
Okay.
And he's been stinking up the place so far.
Oh Lord.
Well, they won today, so they qualified for the next round, but they've been playing woefully bad. And people have been saying, poor Messi is not the greatest because he's not playing so good.
But one person cannot carry a team.
Well, I don't know if that's true. So then why did Maradona win the World Cup, or why did Pele win the World Cup? You think they had players that helped them?
Oh my God. I'm going to tell you what, because I don't know anything about this sport, I just know I like the shorts.
I love that.
I'm going to leave.
No.
I'm going to leave, but I don't see anybody.
Nobody has a World Cup favorite. Everybody just leave out the World Cup thing. I don't know. That's so incredible. Especially because when we were in Jamaica, everybody's have them flags
out, and I know I kept hearing Brazil and Argentina. I didn't hear anything. I heard Russia flop. I heard
Russia been doing great.
Oh, they have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though they're the host and they're supposed to be like the worst, they've been playing great. They're qualified for the next round.
Okay. I'm going to take your word for that.
Absolutely. Well, the last few days has been all of the movement, so we now know who's moving on and who is not moving on. And it's been very exciting. I've been enjoying it, playing in the background while I do my work. It's like I've been able to catch a little bit.
Alright, so I don't know what is CONCACAF and all of that.
CONCACAF is our region, so that's like USA, Mexico, Panama, Jamaica, Trinidad, Cuba. That's the region's football. Mm-hmm. So you have South America, you have Asia, you have Africa, you have Europe, and you have CONCACAF. So CONCACAF sends 3 teams to the World Cup every year. Mm-hmm. And it's typically like USA, Mexico, and which other team can scrape themselves in there.
And the Reggae Boys made it one time and flopped the first round, right?
Right.
Oh dear.
But guess what?
I love you, reggae boy.
But guess what? USA didn't make it this year. The first in how long USA is not in the World Cup.
Oh, USA.
Yeah, they flopped out. So it's Mexico, Costa Rica, and Panama.
So why are we not rooting for Mexico, Costa Rica, and Panama?
We should be, because it's CONCACAF.
So why are we rooting for Brazil?
No, well, you're rooting for Brazil because you said it's a color everybody wearing.
Oh, Lord.
But no, we have to pick up Mexico. I would love Mexico to win. If it's not Brazil, Mexico will win.
Yeah, let me eat an ashore or a taco or something.
Thank you.
Alright, so
I can't believe that the World Cup discussion don't yield one person saying which team them support.
Discussion.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Support that team in the World Cup.
Nobody. Alright, so let's talk about some little bit of politics. I don't want to get into politics, but the Supreme Court did a thing today. I'm going to read a little news, right? Democratic lawmakers on Tuesday, what is today?
Tuesday.
Alright. Tore into the Supreme Court's decision to uphold the president's controversial travel ban targeting several Muslim-majority countries. Among them, Representative Keith Ellison, Democrat of Minnesota, the first Muslim ever elected to Congress. He says, today's decision undermines the core value of religious tolerance on which America was founded. I am deeply disappointed that this ruling gives legitimacy to discrimination and Islamophobia. So basically, we have the Supreme Court of the United States, right? Our president decided that he was going to put a ban on these majority Muslim companies, and he said he wanted to do that from the very beginning. No Muslims should be entering the United States. What happened? Countries.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I'm in my corporate mind, right? And you know, I agree that we are a nation of immigrants. So, was this should we? Here's a question for me, right? I see people going. Well, it doesn't affect me, so why should I care? And it's those other people that it's affecting, so why should I care?
No, you have to care.
That's a challenge for me, because at one point or another, many of us were those other people. So before we got here into the United States, we were those Jamaican people, and we're still those immigrants, and we're still those black people, and whatever. So please. Sean says the orange man want to favor John Crow.
I see.
But without disparaging any further orange people, let's leave the orange people alone, right? But give me your thoughts on that, right? Because I know there's a lot of Jamaican people or Caribbean people or black people who will say the same thing. I mentioned it last week that I've heard certain groups in America kind of going, well, other people are going to come and use up all of our resources and they don't give anything back. And I just don't think, as an immigrant myself, I don't think that's true.
I don't know, it's not true. It's a hypocrisy. It's ignorance. Because they are the descendants of immigrants. So are they not giving? I mean, what are they saying? They're saying, we received and we want to keep it for ourselves.
Right.
It's called selfish.
Yeah. Norma Allen just joined, and she's asking what we're talking about. We're talking about right now the travel ban that the Supreme Court just passed in a 5-4 vote yesterday, and how it's affecting the psyche, basically.
Reactions to that.
Oh yeah,
it's nuts.
What is your reaction to that? Like, I don't know. I know we are from majority Christian countries, unless you're from Trinidad or maybe Guyana.
This is not Christian.
No, I'm saying we are typically from majority Christian countries. Trinidad has a lot of Muslims and a lot of Hindus, whereas we don't have that kind of volume, right? So, so that's the question. What is your thought? Please put it in the comments. What is your thought on this Muslim ban? We'll start with Mr. Sexy Man, and then we'll go to the comments from.
Yeah, so on a real, this is a David Muir only, not representing any platform, not Jamaicans, not island origins, just David Muir. Mm-hmm. I think this is a bunch of nonsense. People need to stop being so selfish and greedy. The idea that we should ban anybody is ridiculous. We should obviously take precaution to safeguard the nation from people who come in trying to harm or cause chaos or to do nefarious activities. Outside of that, this idea that we're going to target any one country over another is absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that the Supreme Court has voted to uphold that is only pointing to the fact that we need a new Supreme Court, because that is absolutely madness.
Desperately.
Yeah, that's my opinion. And yeah, I said Mr. Murphy's giving me the thumbs up. I'm glad to hear that, sir. I hope you're giving my opinion a thumbs up and not the fact that I said I'm not representing Jamaicans.com with my opinion.
What is bothering me, and neither am I representing any organization. This is Calibe Thompson view now. But what is bothering me is the fact that it's as though one person can, with the sweep of a pen. Obviously, it's not just with the sweep of a pen, because he's gone through litigation and he's gone through finding ways for his lawyers and his attorneys to proliferate these bigoted views, as far as I'm concerned. But basically, one person is steering this whole conversation about all you immigrants are evil and bad and wicked, and you're the cause of all that is wrong in this country. And people are taking it and actually making it something real. And it goes to another discussion that I've heard many, many times, right? When the election was going on and we started to hear about the hate crimes and the bigotry and the phobias and the stuff that were coming out, I heard a lot of people saying, I'm glad it's coming out, because now I know who is who, and now, now people don't hide behind some misrepresentation of civility, when we know now that this person is racist and that person is racist and that person is anti-whatever. For me, when you have somebody at the top who is that anti-everybody else, right? When you have somebody at the top who is so brazenly against women and against, Muslims and against Black people and against Asian people and against international trade with our friends and whatever, it emboldens other people to start doing things that they normally wouldn't do. And I understand some people think that diplomacy is holding your tongue and being disingenuous or whatever, but that's what keeps societies in order. Like, that's what keeps a social order. The minute you start going, well, I don't like you, so I'm gonna, slash your car tires and whatever, and everybody feels emboldened to do that. Everybody feels like it's okay for me to make racist statements. Even people who did not grow up that way, who wouldn't have thought about doing it beforehand, because everybody else is now doing it and because everybody else is now emboldened to do it, they start to behave in ways that they would not do naturally. It starts to become more accepted when people come out and do these racist things. And so I think there's a desensitization going on, where if the president can do it and the president says it's right, Supreme Court, let's just do it. Let's just go for it.
Yeah, there's some problems. I just think apart from all that you said, I basically agree with. I just don't get how the children of immigrants to the country get to say that immigrants are bad. There's no part of...
You're right, that's the other thing.
Yeah, how do you get to be... It's okay for me to be an immigrant, but not okay for you to be an immigrant.
Because you're an immigrant with that skin color, and I'm an immigrant with this skin color.
So then it's not about immigrant, it's about something else.
When they use the word immigrant, it is with a wink. Those immigrants, right. Those colored immigrants.
Right, because again, unless you're Native American, you're an immigrant.
No, but they even want to call the Native Americans others. I don't know that they call. Let me tell you something. If you don't mind, Sha, there are people who will probably think Native Americans are
immigrants too, of course, because they're only native somewhere else, not here.
No, because they're just others. They're not the European white majority. So yeah, sad. So April has a point here. She says, Christian or not, we shouldn't be comfortable with this ruling. It opens the door to so much more discriminatory actions. And I agree with you, April. That is exactly the point I just made. When you start to normalize this type of behavior, that before this was just unacceptable, they called it political correctness, but it was just civility, as far as I'm concerned. It was just being manazable, as we would say in Does that make sense to you?
Well, I think it a different way, but it does make sense. For me,
Yeah.
your opinion of me don't bother me. Like, I literally just don't care. Unless you are somebody who I want to have hold me in a certain regard,
Right.
which is a few select people.
Right.
You all know who you are. Everybody else, I couldn't care less. That's
That
why.
I see, but that's you as an individual, and I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
That statement, though, your opinion of me is none of my business. Don't come and tell me say you don't like me. Like, keep that to yourself. Let us be civil. Let us be able to have civil discourse. If we disagree, let us disagree, and then we go our separate ways. We don't need to get into this. I hate you. I
want
hate you.
to teach my fellow friends how to hear their opinions of others and make it don't bother you at all. Because it would make your life so much more pleasant.
Oh God. Sean says, tell the thing for deporting my wife. Leave the immigrants them alone.
Yeah, but that's an orange man wife, an immigrant. She can hardly speak English.
Apparently she speaks 7 languages.
Oh, that's why it seems like she can't speak the one.
But apparently English is not one of them. Yeah. No one is safe for this is from Xavier. No one is safe for those immigrants that think the shop lock. They are now going after citizenship cheaters. So Xavier has put a link to that story, but I'll give you just the brief version. Apparently, if you lied on your citizenship your application or whatever, you were out of the country more than you should have been, or I don't know what lies they're going after, but they're now going back and just dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's, and they might want to come back and take your naturalization papers. So I guess be careful.
Are they doing that to the white people? I'm sorry to say the words white people, but so are they doing that to the other?
Probably not.
Yeah, because
probably not.
So
they're not really immigrants. And Coulter says they're settlers, not immigrants.
Oh, of course. So the people who come now are not settlers; they're immigrants. But if you came on the ship dragging other people, you are a settler.
My dear, if you're watching and the conversation is something that you think people in your timeline would want to participate in, please go ahead and hit the share button. We want to get some more engagement going on here. Xavier again says, what if the next step is lottery scammers' relatives or Jamaicans under the guise of the government must stop the lottery scam? And I agree with you, Xavier, because they are going after people and people's family, and there's no... Like, everybody who is other in their eyes is a target. And that means me and you and everybody else is a target. That's a challenge for me. When we now again start to otherize, as you said, we have now been able to come in here and we have the bounty and the booty and whatever we have now gained in this country. We're gonna start armsing it up and say, it's for me, it's not for you.
Madness, that is straight selfish, greedy madness.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the trauma of child separation, because we're talking about the Muslim ban just now.
But then have this border one too.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys been watching the news, and there's been this cute girl that everybody's all bent out of shape because they're separating. Even the orange man has now said that he is against separation. So I want to see if we can understand. Please, I need some comments here.
I don't believe him.
So well, he apparently is doing something about it, but I think here's the thing.
He regrets doing something about it. He said he regrets doing something.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Let's unpack this.
Okay.
If it is that when people come to our borders and are trying to gain entry into the United States, there is somehow a determination of who can come and who can't come, and there is going to be some decision about separating parent from children, and that decision was said to be inhumane and incorrect, so now they're reversing that decision, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So here is the bigger picture. Isn't it really what he's saying is that nobody should come and he don't want the child or the adult? Because I think he's really, what he's saying is that it's not that there shouldn't be a separation, it's that they shouldn't come at all. So instead of it being that he's turning away the parent and allowing the child and therefore separating, he's saying, no, everybody turn back. That's what I read from what the President of the United States has been saying.
That is probably what he's saying. I still think it's inhumane when you look at somebody running away from rapists and murderers and people who are decapitated. I mean, we come from a country where that's not the everyday fare, but every now and again you hear about some inner city community where there's some badness happening that you think to yourself, if I was in this inner city community, how could I get out? How could I get a leg up in life, right? And part of the promise of what America used to be, when America was greater than it is now, like 2 or 3 years ago. I'm sorry, I'm going to say that on my own behalf. But part of the promise of America was that you would come here and there would be a chance at a better life. And most of us who are immigrants, most of us coming from the Caribbean, at least, and Central America, come here with this objective that we want to work hard and do better than our families did before us and make a better opportunity for our kids and leave a lasting legacy of goodness and productivity. And so, yeah, for the kids to be put in this kind of situation, or, you know, for this guy to say everybody must go back to whatever because you're really not seeking asylum, you're coming here to become a gang member because you're from a certain country. That's just ridiculous. That means you're coming here to be a slave master because you're from a European country, right? You're coming here to be a vulture capitalist or whatever because you're from a particular country.
Vulture capitalist, I'm not familiar with the term. Yeah, man. Very nice.
Yeah, man. It's not my term. Vulture capitalist.
Norma Allen, Norma, good senior comment here, Norma. Mm-hmm. I'll read it out, but I have to make a slight correction. Norma said, of course, it's going to affect the psyche of everyone, right? I have a lot to say on this.
But too much to
type. I don't get or agree. Wow, it's really a lot you put here, my friend. You go ahead.
Yeah, with all the ignorance of those in office to target certain groups, one person should not have that power over certain groups of people. What is coming out in different folks is what's been embedded in a person from a long time. Sometimes I don't agree with you. Sometimes I think monkey see, monkey do. I don't know if you ever watched this movie, Lord of the Flies. Little boys who are good little boys, because somebody in a position of leadership amongst them started to do bad things. Everybody started to do bad things. And it wasn't in them to do it before this, right? So everybody has good and bad, but I don't know that I agree with that part necessarily. The people are feeling totally empowered to say and do and act out in this way because they have the support of certain ones. Completely agreed. And when people in power have that kind of power and are the example, everybody goes the wrong way. Look how decent people were when the other guy, when our boy was in office. What about being treated as a human being? America does not belong to America. How can this be right? I try to embrace all wherever you come from as a human being. This is a very good topic because the table could be turned anytime.
And I expect it's going to be turned some more. And Mr. Barnes also says, Peter Barnes says, history has taught us nothing, right? Whew, that's a thing. But you go on to say here, as Bob Marley would say, until the philosophy. That saying is not Bob Marley. That's actually Haile Selassie that Bob Marley sang the lyrics of the speech. But it is very important that we do understand and we do repeat that until the philosophy that holds one race superior and others inferior, there will always be war. That is so true. It is still true today. And we love that you people are making comments. Peter, you made another comment. Sean making comments as well. And of course, at the end of the day...
Sean, that's not appropriate. Not appropriate. Anyway.
Yes, and let me take this opportunity to say right here, Sean and others, we definitively understand that everybody has feelings about this topic, but I want to make sure that we all understand that I personally love some Bati people, and it's okay that they're Bati people to me. So I get it, I'm not one myself.
I don't know if that phrasing is.
Well, I'm just going with what he has chosen here. Okay, sorry. So yes, let me say that I am embracing of all types of people of different race, of different culture, of different religion, and of different sexuality and gender identity. I am definitely 100% in support of people who are people once they're being true to themselves and they're not imposing their desires, their wishes, their orientations upon other people. and they're only doing what makes them happy in their own communities. So that's just me. Right. Again, I expose my personal opinions. I don't want anybody to feel like there's anyone else who needs to believe what I believe. But we have to live and let live. We have to. We have to.
And
otherwise,
when you go there, you're going to get a long sidebar from me. so Sean, you here? All right. But Sean says basically vote them out. So November is coming.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I wonder if we can organize a political forum of some sort where we hear from candidates. I want to hear from some of the candidates, right? Because I see two strong Democratic candidates in South Florida. I am going to assume that many of the Caribbean community are going to vote for one of those two. They had a little debate thing at a church in Miami the other day. Jeff somebody is a self-made billionaire, white gentleman, nice. He seems like he has a very pleasant demeanor. And there's a black American gentleman, Andrew Gillum. And we met him at Robert Beatty's home. Mm-hmm. We were down there doing some promotions with the magazine and met Mr. Gillum. Seemed very warm, very down to earth. So they're both very good candidates. I don't agree that we should vote based on somebody being the same race as us. Granted, somebody with your same race will speak up on your behalf.
Well, what they may also do is not be as much of a bigot or as much of somebody who is willing to do things against everybody.
Right.
So people who are of a privilege are going to tend to side with the privilege.
Right.
So I think that is very, very important for us to be aware of.
Well, that said, this guy Jeff, I forget his name, but Jeff, let's call him Jeff, right? He seems to be very down to earth, and that's why I'd like to understand where both of them are coming from. He has a lot more money, as I said, self-made billionaire, not with that N, with a B. And he made the point that with the Republican machinery that's going to come out with Donald Trump and all his rich friends, we're going to need some money behind whoever the gubernatorial candidate is for the Democratic Party. I would hope that if he didn't win, he would still throw some money behind whoever the Democrat is, because the way this country is going is a little challenging, to say the least. All right.
Cool.
Yeah. Peter Barnes says, please keep this clean. Don't act the way they want us to or prove them right.
Yes.
Yeah, agreed with that.
Appreciate love. Yes,
all right.
Thank you.
All right, so another little bit of mix-up now, right?
Yes.
Bahama Breeze. It's not officially Caribbean. Bahamas is the name.
Catching time, we're over 10 minutes.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
cool.
All right, so a Bahama Breeze manager was fired after calling the police on black sorority members, right? Last week, nearly 40 members of the Delta Sigma Theta, you don't mess with Deltas. You know that already, right?
Yes, I don't mess with them. I work with them.
You work with them. You don't mess with them, right? Yeah. So anyway, 40 members of the sorority showed up at the Bahama Breeze restaurant in Orange Village, Ohio, for a celebration. Somebody got a promotion and they were having a party, right? Now, the reservation initially said 25 people were coming to the Caribbean-themed restaurant, but 15 extra people showed up. So the service was slow, whatever. One of the attendees threatened to withhold payment because of the poor service, and the manager at this particular Bahama Breeze called the police on the group to make sure that didn't happen. As a result, the officer stood there and watched as every single black woman in this Delta sorority paid her bill, and they were checking receipts as these women were walking out the door. Now, they understood the slow service. You make a joke sometimes and it's taken too far, but were they justified in being treated like criminals, basically having this police officer watch them make a payment as they walked out? So I'll tell you, because of the uproar, of the Delta uproar, and that's why you don't mess with Deltas, right? Because of the uproar, Bahama Breeze ended up firing the manager. And then it's coming out now that there have been other racist managers in place, and
I don't know if I can agree with the manager being racist,
right? Because
if it were white people who should threaten not to pay, they may have been treated the same way. They may have been. We don't know. Mm-hmm. Here is the thing that is a problem. As a business owner, and as someone who provides service every single day, there is no customer of mine that I'm going to threaten in this way as a part of my customer service. Right. There's got to be a bit more diplomatic way of handling circumstances like this, because there you can never win in a service industry, of which restaurant business is one, of what we all do is another. You can't win in service by threatening your customer base with legal action based on their experience.
And calling police on them.
Yeah, that just makes that's just a bad decision every day of the week.
I think because though there have been so many instances of police being called on black people just for asking for a glass of water or wanting to use the bathroom or whatever, it starts to carry an overtone. And again, because of the climate that we're in the country now, it's perceived as being okay to judge people because of skin color and just kind of blanket state that they're poorly behaved. A statement like, I'm not going to pay for my food because the service is too slow, I would be wary of that as well. I get it. But apparently Bahama Breeze has had an ongoing issue with managers using the N-word, judging, saying disparaging things about the customers who are coming in there. And so it leads to a bigger question. Is there a culture among certain, establishments? Starbucks just did their whole national training where they closed down every store. Did they do it already?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where they closed down every store and did sensitivity, sensitivity training. I don't know if it's race or just otherization or whatever. Sensitivity training. Does every major company need to do that? Do the ones who have, some kind of overtone of, you might hear this fairly frequently, that your managers and people in high positions are speaking like that. As a matter of fact, they said, in reading the article, they said that one of the store managers was written up because they would give the white associates breaks and stuff, and they would give the black ones.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So.
Yeah, that's an issue.
So in a case like that, do you boycott the whole? Of course, the Deltas are now calling for the boycott of the whole company, even though they fired this particular manager. Is that right for them to go and say, let's boycott the whole?
Of course it's right.
National establishment?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Because it's a corporate culture.
Yeah.
And until they can show or do something to rectify, maybe what they can do for the Deltas is to do something where they recognize they have a Delta Day, a special deal where they invite them to come and see that they can get treated better. But it's up to the corporation to make an effort to win back the business of the Deltas. I mean, absolutely. This is all about how we interact with each other. So, without question, Bahama Breeze now has the challenge of how do they now make themselves attractive to that audience again. That's just the way the world works. And I think it's absolutely the best thing for the Deltas to react that way so that they now put the ball squarely in the court of Bahama Breeze, the corporation, to say, hey, it's on you guys to now determine, do you value us? And if you value us, show us that you value us.
I'm a little weird about that because, again, as a business owner, I hire some people, I train them up the best way that I can. And in a corporation of a certain size, people are going to slip through the cracks, right? You franchise out your business, you say this is the code of conduct. But Chinese telephone, I tell you something, you tell that person something. By the time it gets down to that person, somebody's tired, somebody's having a bad day, and they do something wrong. And now the whole company, my whole company is going to get boycotted because of that one person who I don't know from anywhere, who I've done everything possible.
Disagree that you have done everything possible, or that wouldn't happen. And I think that it's fair for them to react the way they react. That person would not have been emboldened to be that person if it was not something that they thought they could get. If the person thought for a second that this might lead to them losing their job, they would never have acted that way. Well, and if the right culture was in place, that person would never do that. So I'm totally for people reacting to this type of thing and holding these companies accountable. Your company would never have somebody who did something like that.
Do you know, did something like this in particular? Yes. I probably agree with you.
Absolutely.
We did something the other day, and I know I went and spoke to every volunteer that I could and said to them, you're reflecting us, you are reflecting a certain level of service and level of presentation that whatever we touch, right? Island Syndicate. You're encroaching in my personal space, can you please just...
I'm on my
Shift
chair.
over.
If you
Alright,
push
I'm
up
gonna
yourself,
shift over.
yeah.
Alright.
You push up yourself on
Alright,
my
I'll go
chair.
over here, 'cause I
Hello.
want to free up myself and
Yeah.
gesticulate and
Free up yourself.
Alright, if you want to rub up, just let me know. Alright.
Again, you're coming in there.
Anyway, right?
Time,
so we
time.
do
Let's-
things.
yeah.
Yeah, how far are we?
5 minutes.
We do things at a particular level at Island Syndicate, right? And I had that discussion with our volunteers, and yet still somebody said to me, you had somebody serving food somewhere that was just miserable and didn't want to put on any, them asked for little oxtail gravy. Guinness is hilarious. that quote is from one of Guinness' stories, right? But basically the person asked for something and the server's response was kind of huff and puff. And somebody could say, well, your event was awful because this one person did something that was off. And I don't think that is fair to...
No, man, it's fair.
I don't think so.
It is fair. No, it's fair in this regard.
Mm-hmm.
Remember
Yeah.
that the person who didn't give the gravy didn't call the police
Mm-hmm.
and wait and watch every person check them bill
Mm-hmm.
and govern it in that way, which is way off.
That's a different
track.
extreme, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if, for example, you said you informed the people to act a certain way, and they do not do as they were told, and you get a report back from somebody, then you're going to address that person, and they're not going to like to do that again.
Right.
And you're going to put measures in place so that company wide, those things are. You're always going to have some little thing, but you're going to always be correcting and improving.
Right.
If this person got to this level where they did something so drastic that was taken that way, that was something that has been developed over time. And that's all I'm clarifying. Somebody's not going to just tear apart your business based on not getting gravy one time. But if it's continuous, that there's always a bad attitude and always bad gravy, they'll never fix a problem till they get to the point where people are emboldened enough to say, we don't give gravy at all unless you pay $10 extra or whatever it is.
Right.
Then that's where your company's going to get that kind of a hit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh boy. All right. So a few comments, and we're 2 minutes out. It makes you wonder how is this going to be fixed. Look at me answering my own question. Voting, I guess, challenge is great. I just want to say I love you both. Very good presenters, and the topics are always engaging. One thing that gets me is injustice, especially for those who don't have a voice. Thank you so much, Norma. Leo Gilling, the superstar of Jamaicans.com. Hey, Leo. Thank you for tuning in. Peter Barnes, yes, some things are very ignorant. We can boycott some of them, especially when you see that culture of poor behavior. Thank you for that comment, Norma. Peter Barnes, go back to basics. The 10 Commandments. Highlight, do unto others what they will do unto you. Then again, too many people don't have common sense, or they don't teach that in school. Common sense is not a lesson that we learn in school, no.
As my father told me as a child growing up, common sense is not common.
Oh boy. All right, so we want to invite everyone to visit the ICABA event that is this Thursday. Do you happen to have the details on it, Mr. Saxon?
I know it's Thursday morning. I know it's at the Urban League of Broward County.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be good food because it's Caribbean themed. I know they're going to have Mr. Persad as the key speaker.
Keynote speaker, right?
So
it starts at 7:30 in the morning.
7:30 this Thursday morning.
Right.
You can buy tickets online. If you didn't receive our e-blast about it, if you do register through our e-blast, I believe they recognize that we are the ones who referred you. But regardless, if you do go to, is it icabaworld.com?
icabaworld.com, yes.
You can definitely find more information about it this Thursday morning.
It's free for members. ICABA Associates, $15. Non-members, it's $30. It's going to be well worth it, even just for the networking. It's at the Urban League, which is a place that you should know, especially if you're in business in South Florida, if you want to buy a home, if you need to move forward as a person of color.
If you need a business loan.
Whatever's
I got one.
going on.
Hello, Capital Access Fund.
Yes, thank you. And this is sponsored by PNC Bank, so thank you to them as well.
PNC.
Yeah, man, PNC, that's our
We bank
people.
with them.
Yes, we do. And hello, Sonny and Quest and whoever. All right, so we're encouraging you to visit that on Thursday morning, 7:30 a.m. Urban League of Broward County. Is there any other event coming up this week or in the next few weeks
My
that we
poor
want to talk
brain.
about? Jerk Festival in New York. I don't know the date.
I will say this. This Saturday is the Nancy Festival at Broward College.
It is?
Yeah, man.
Isn't that Xavier's?
I think it is Xavier's.
Xavier, you didn't...
Anansi is Saturday at the Broward College Library. So it's the Broward County Library at Broward College, which is what they call at the South Campus of Broward College, right there where they have it every year. Okay. So I think it's called South Regional Library. Okay. So definitely plan to be there on Saturday. Anansi Festival is coming this Saturday. Congratulations
to the Caribbean American elected chair of the Broward Housing Council Habitat.
Yes. Marcia
Barry Smith. Is that a friend of yours?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
you know Marcia.
You only know fancy people, eh?
I think, actually, there's a few people who got some high positions. Mm-hmm. But because you mentioned that, I do want to give, he's not Caribbean American, but he's a black man. He's the first black president of Broward College. So I have to give a big respect, a big up to Greg Hale, my brethren. Greg Hale, I know you're probably not watching, but if someone is watching who knows Greg, please, let him know. Congratulations, the very first black president of Broward College.
Let's get a second black president of the United States of America.
For
please.
Real.
And not
real.
Ben Carson.
Yes.
Amen. Anyway, thank you all for watching. This has been Island Origins Live. If you have a topic that you'd like us to talk about, if there's any hot topic that you want us to discuss next week, please go ahead and think about it and throw it into the comments when we do get back. We are taking some more downtime, but we'll get back on point, on our sexy point soon enough, right? We'll see y'all next week. Love y'all.
Of course, the walk offset to turn off the light because we don't have a team with us this last few
Ready?
weeks.
Say bye, Mr. Sexy Man.
Bye, everybody.